specific circumstance. Zachary was someone who had been killed by one of his friends, and they felt like justice wasn't coming to terms. Zachary, it's like in the world, the narrative is that black lives do not matter. We see the same thing with Boko Haram and how that's continuing. If you don't know what Boko Haram is, I would really suggest you look it up, but I'll explain a little bit for the moment. It's a militant Muslim group in Nigeria that is wreaking havoc and using that issue. And if as Christians we can't bring it up, or as individuals ourselves who are thinkers, we can't bring it up and we always dismiss it, we won't get anywhere. I don't have any opinions on it. I just wanted to bring it up as something to think about. The only person I'm going to let have opinions tonight is Mr. Joseph, who's going to speak to us on an issue of the community. So I'm going to turn it over to Joseph. Thanks.
Friday last week, I was sitting in my house. I remember distinctively, I was watching CNN, and I got a call from Busala. It's like, hey, Joseph, listen, I'm putting together this program. I think it's an awesome program, and I have a slot for you, and I think you will be a perfect fit. Two things went through my mind at that point in time. One was, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do this. I was scared. I was frightened. But after I let that simmer for a little while, God instilled in me a different thought, which was relating to to what I was watching on the news, and also directly relates to Boko Haram. So last week, Friday, I'm sure we're all aware by now, ISIS had attacked France, and in the aftermath. But nonetheless, I guess the basic point of what I'm trying to say is every time when we wake up in the morning, and every interactions that we have, in the example of my clients, let's say I'm having a horrible day. When I get to work, all my work is going bad. Everything I do, I can't concentrate. And I decided to go back to school to get my master's degree. Well, along the way, and I mentioned two key facts, which is I grew up a Catholic, I left the Catholic church and became an atheist. Hey, Mr. Joseph, guess what? I said, hey, how's it going? Your water pipes just busted, and we're gonna need you to have to move out the house because we also found a gun in your apartment complex, which was legally but because I was a Nigerian and at that time I'd gotten my U.S. citizenship, but they automatically assumed that because I was a Nigerian, I was not. The gun was bought illegally. So they told me, well, we're gonna need you to have to vacate the premises, and also you're gonna have to pay us $10,000. Well, the money was not so much an issue for me at the time, but at the same time, it was still much of an issue. I think what was the most issue was that I had no place to stay. I had nowhere to go, and I spoke with my Nigerian friends around that time, but they were also getting laid off from work. So they were leaving the city, and there are maybe about 5 of them. So they were leaving the city. My other friends I knew were of no good to hang out with, so I was alone by myself until I ran into an individual, and that individual allowed me stay with them for the remainder of my time that I was in Wyoming. I say that to cover back to the story I mentioned earlier. When I was hungry, I didn't have a place to stay. I personally believe it was God's design to make that incident happen to me in Wyoming in order to make the incident that happened to me in Houston, Texas, or in San Antonio, Texas, in order for me to come back to God. And I'm still not perfect in my way towards God. I'm still not perfect in my way towards Christ. But in watching the design that orchestrated prior to what led me back to church or back to God, I say without a doubt there is a God, and it's through living his words, living a purposeful life, a positive purposeful life, and making sure every activity that I encounter, everything that I participate in, I do my best. I grow my seeds where it belongs, deep inside the root, and I put everything I got into everything I do. That's it for tonight. I think I covered it all without too much sweating. But thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
And through that, we're also learning. And I know he's also a part of, what's the group you're a part of? The Nigerian. Nigerian People's Society of San Antonio. And so I knew that he would have some insight into community issues. I'm going to go into the next portion, but before I do want to mention our sponsors. It's important because they did sponsor us, and they're good people. First, Rehoboth Family Dentistry in Converse, Texas. If you need a dentist, or if you just had persistent dental problems and you actually want a dental office who will care about you and treat you really well, who has really great staff that will focus on your problem and your dental care, go to Rehoboth Family Dentistry in Commerce, Texas. That's real. I mean, I worked at lots of dental offices, and this is a dental office you want to visit. And then number two, if you like Nigerian food or you like Nigerian people and you think that by association you would also like the food, TJ International Market is located in San Antonio, Texas, on Wurzbach, 5700 Wurzbach Boulevard. Go check them out. They have a variety of great products. So if you've never experienced any of that, go check it out. I'm going to jump.
My first movie that I wrote, directed, and produced is called Without a Father. It's on Netflix, and it's in all the Christian bookstores in the U.S., and most importantly, it's truly impacting lives to the glory of God. This is a calling that he has on my life. It's not a business. It's kingdom business, but we're in the business of impacting lives for his glory through assignment and life's railroad to heaven. And so I'm just so thankful. Whatever we can do to be a blessing within the community, when it comes to filmmaking, when it comes to editing, when it comes to directing, we're here. And again, it's not about money for us. It's all about the kingdom. And we do need funding to continue the work that we do, but we trust God. And we don't worry, we don't doubt, we don't fear. It's been amazing sometimes, well, a lot of times when we're filming, I mean, people literally think we from Hollywood. Like, no, I mean, we from right here in San Antonio.
I'm starting this YouTube channel about my journey into the South Korean culture here and just exploring it in Texas, starting off in San Antonio, Texas. And you're probably wondering why. Like, what's the purpose? Why are you doing this? How did this come about? And I would say, okay, the first experience I ever had with the Korean culture was my freshman year in college. And I remember I had a friend who was really into Korean music. And I remember I would go into her dorm room and she would have like Korean music blasted. And I remember being just annoyed by it. I was like, what is this weird music? Turn it off. I don't want to listen to it. So she turned it off, and after that day, I never heard any Korean music, anything Korean from her. She just kind of like just stopped. Like whenever I'm around, she just never played it anymore. So that happened. And then just about a year or two later, what is going on? Just about a year or two later, a friend of mine was invited to this Korean themed night type thing for this guy his family moved to South Korea for 2 years. And so when he came back, he wanted to just kind of have like a Korean night and just kind of like have Korean food and watch a Korean movie. And I remember she was like, hey, I have this Korean night event to go to. You should come. And I was like, why would I want to go to a country's theme party? That's weird. And this is coming from a Nigerian girl who is speaking to an American girl saying it's weird to go to a country theme party. So I didn't want to go, but she pretty much like begged me because she said she didn't want to go alone. So I went. The first thing I noticed was that there was this long table on the floor. There's a whole bunch of food, different foods on there. So we're supposed to sit around the table and just kind of like take and put on our plate. And I was so annoyed because I was wearing this skirt, and there's like a way, like you sit like a certain type of way, and I'm not used to sitting that way. So I already knew I was gonna have a very long night. I was already upset about that, and then I had to use chopsticks, and I had no chopsticks skills at all. So it was literally the worst thing in the world because I was trying to like pick up food, And it was a struggle. And I was just getting more frustrated because I could not eat the food. And the little bit I had, I was like, this tastes weird. Why am I here? I hate life. What is this? I'm wasting my Friday night in this place. And then after that whole process, I didn't really eat anything because I just couldn't use chopsticks. And so we started to watch the movie. And when we started the movie, I was even now more annoyed. I was like, what is this? This is weird. What are they doing? What are they talking about? This is just terrible. What kind of movie? Who is paying money for this kind of movie? And I just kind of like left that night and just erased that memory from my mind. And then it came to my junior year in college, and my last semester of my junior year, we had an opportunity to go study abroad. And so I was looking at the list of where I wanted to go, being a philosophy major, and all my friends, they chose to go to like London and Italy, like, you know, the basic place that everyone chooses to go for study abroad. And then on that list, I saw South Korea, and mind you, I completely forgot about the experience I had before that I hated. And so I chose South Korea because I just wanted to, first of all, do something different. I didn't want to go to like a typical place. And so I went to South Korea, and let's just say, when I got there, I flew there, I had this mindset. I didn't know anything about the culture, anything about the country. We got on the plane, we got there, and I was amazed at how, like, not so technology-wise, because we went to Seoul. So I was amazed at how much advanced it was. I don't know why in my head I was thinking it was, like, very poorly, which is interesting coming from an African girl, because some people have that mindset that like all parts of Africa is like very poorly advanced. So that was the mindset that I had. And so I spent 6 months over there, and I was able to study how the people are, the culture, and try a lot of food, and do a lot of things, listen to different music. I picked up a few phrases, a few words, and all that stuff, and it really opened my mind, because I like think back to years before when I was like so close-minded to the idea of like there being a different culture. I tried the food, and the first thing I said, it was weird. I watched the movie, the first thing I said, it was weird, because I was putting it up against the idea that it would be just like what I already know. I was expecting it to taste like American food, or to be like an American movie. I was expecting that. And that when you close your mind to the fact that there are other people in this world that have different cultures, it makes it harder for you to understand other people, to relate with other people in the world. And so I learned from that experience that I thought the music was weird, but there was nothing different about it. It was just spoken in a different language. And so it made me think, if I think that's weird, then what would an American person think about Nigerian music, which is perfectly normal to me? People see something that's different as weird. And so I just, and so it's just, it just opened my eyes and made me to realize that there are some things in this world that people fight about, they argue about, and those things can be easily solved by just understanding that they're Korean, I'm Nigerian. We have different cultures. Neither one of them is bad. Neither one of them is better than the other one. It's just different. And once you're able to understand, okay, because now when I watch Korean movies, I get it, because the Korean movies is a reflection of their culture. It's not gonna be like American movies. And so when you watch your Korean movies, you can't go in there with the mindset that it's gonna be just like the movies you watch in America, because the culture is different there. And so now when I watch the Korean movies, I like them. I watch American movies, I like them. I watch Nigerian movies, I like them, because I change my mindset to understand that it is going to be different, because the culture reflects in each movies, and you can tell there's a difference. So you're able to relate well with other human beings, so you're able to understand your own culture more. And surprisingly enough, there's a lot of similar culture things between Nigerians and Koreans, which people would never know if they never just branch out of what they know. So I'm gonna start talking now because I've talked for too much. But this is just going to be a series of me just, excuse me, sir, can you not interrupt me while I'm talking? So this YouTube channel really is just for one thing, two things. The first one is just kind of to just give the people around me, you know, you don't want to go out there and learn it for yourself. You can just watch me go to places and you can just learn a little bit about something. So I am going to be making a trip back to Seoul next year, June. And so I'm also going to be sharing that experience with everyone. And yeah, so today you're going to be watching the first episode, and also you exclusively get to watch the second episode. So good for you. Okay, I'm done.
Strict, which is good as a country as a whole, because it makes us progress a lot faster, which is good. And we have good food.
Okay. You wanted to say his name again?
Okay,
Okay, you get another chance.
Okay, I get it. I'm very confident.
Even I know how to say it, and I'm not Korean.
Don't laugh, okay.
Okay.
Tell me when you're ready.
I've been ready. I just have to like edit out. Whenever you're ready. Don't take like hours though. So you have to close at 10.
안녕하세요. 내 이름이 홍준영입니다.
Okay, thank you very much.
So definitely like $80.
Friends trying Korean foods, Korean snacks, watching a Korean TV show, and all that stuff. And then you get to get more information about actual Korean food and all that stuff. So,
Well,
yeah.
are you on Twitter?
Yes, I am on Twitter as BeniFilms.
All right, cool.
And on Instagram as beniscript.jpg.
All right, awesome. Well, this was Project Forward Film. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to ever come out to Project Forward, whenever we do our live anything, you can always go to, just look for Project Forward, Google it, or you can go to kenyopoetry.com/project-forward to see our calendar of events. Eventually, Project Forward will get like its own website and stuff, but that's not a priority right now. If you do anything creatively, definitely come out. You can definitely guarantee BeniFilms and Gotdon Pictures are going to be doing something together, because networking is key in life. And you know, Joseph is definitely probably going to come back, do something you might